getting pretty close to finished with this one. But it's an interesting book in a lot of ways because you can really learn a lot by reading fiction. You can excite certain parts of the brain. It really does make you think in different ways. And one of the things that these two authors did really well, I know the front cover says just Tom Clancy, but it was really Tom Clancy and Larry Bond, and it's in the front um, letter by Tom Clancy. He shows them both. The book shows a lot of detail at both the sort of macro and micro level of this war between East and West, which remember this was written height of the Cold War, so U.S. and Russia are beating the crap out of each other. But it shows really a couple of things later on in the book. There's this group of people that are U.S. military kind of being spotters in Iceland, and it kind of shows the trouble you have of trying to live off the land, right? Because if you're military and you're stuck someplace and you're behind enemy lines and you've got 3 days of food, but you're there for 3.5 weeks, what do you do, right? So it kind of shows them struggling to kind of survive and how what they have to go through to do that and still do their job. And that was kind of is very interesting stuff. The other one is the air battle. There's this really interesting take on not just, hey, here's what doctrine says, here's, a dogfight, but how do we kind of get a strategy wrapped around this where if we've got large amounts of fighters going at each other, can we do some sort of head fake? Can we do a bluff that sort of makes them look this way while we come in that way, right? So it really does get into that level of detail on the thinking and the strategies behind some of these larger battle scenes, which is kind of interesting because if you play strategic war games or if you play chess or if you have to think strategically in business or whatnot, it kind of excites that part of the brain and starts to make you think about different things different ways. So it strategic thinking is not always the easiest to kind of get used to, but this book actually kind of makes you start to kind of see some of what might go on there, at least in a military sense. And some of those lessons can apply other places, although certainly in business you don't use missiles to shoot at your competitors, but some of that same thinking can become useful. So just about finished with this one, then I'm moving on to something else. But I want to stress more and more that as I build this channel out, that reading has really helped me over the years kind of stay creative and stay, I think, relevant. And it helps me learn to think in specific ways. It gives me ideas. It gives me, notions of how different things work. Reading nonfiction is great, but it affects your brain differently. But the benefits to actually reading something that's fictional that is thought out that isn't real is different. And there's a lot of psychological studies that actually show it is very good for mental health, and it certainly teaches us things like empathy and different methods of thinking. And I think in the world we all live in, we can agree that empathy is lacking. So um, if you have not read this book, it's a great book to read. If not, I just encourage you to read something. Find a title that you like, pick it up, spend some time. Hit like and subscribe below. Everybody have a great rest of your day.